I am here at iMotorbiker, where the owner, a Colombian guy named George, has very kindly offered to store the bike for 7 weeks. Why would I want to store the bike for 7 weeks? Well, you just better stay tuned and I'll tell you why. The old journey's taking another bit of a twist and turn. iMotorbiker is an off-road motorcycling shop in Dubai, and they mostly do BMWs, but they do all sorts of other beautiful machines as well. Look at all these bikes. Here we've got a Ducati in the beautiful Red Bull livery. It's a small space, but they punch above their weight. See all the bikes upstairs, and if you need your bike fixed or you want to hire a bike or whatever, but if you need any repairs and maintenance, they've got a fully kitted out workshop. So if you're in Dubai, you're passing through, or you want to rent some off-road, do some off-roading, come to iMotorbiker. Dum dum dum! So, where am I? Well, I'm obviously not in Dubai anymore because I've got this thick, lovely, warm jacket on. I am on the Thames River in London. Let's have a quick panorama. So I'm surrounded by houseboats. Here's the other riverbank. And up to the bridge. So what the hell am I doing in London? Well, I've decided that 5 months is too long, or more time than I need to spend going through the Middle East. So I've decided to take myself out of the Middle East for about 6 or 7 weeks, and I'm stopping over in London just for 15 hours, seeing my friend Grant, on to my next stop, which you will find out very soon. A lot of teams doing some rowing practice. Here comes some more. Need to get back to the airport soon, so I'll leave you there and stay tuned to see where I turn up. What's up, adventure travelers? So, where did I arrive after my whistle stop tour in London? Well, I have popped up in Buenos Aires. Oh, that sounds glary. Here we are, just on a typical street. People around, cafes, fruit shops. It's a pretty big old city, 8 million people, lots of apartment buildings. There you go. Pretty nice city from what I've seen so far. It's clean, it's modern, and it's fairly upmarket. I think I'm staying in a particularly nice part of town, which is lucky. The hostel where I'm staying is 35 to 40 New Zealand dollars a night, so it's not cheap, but better to pay a bit more than stay in a nasty part of town. Argentina is very green, whether it's in the cities or out in the countryside. They get some decent rain here like New Zealand, so yeah, good agriculture here. There's a fair amount of restaurants and cafes in Buenos Aires. At first glance, it sort of feels like a New York built up, crossed with a Paris. Not that I know a whole lot about either of those cities, but that's sort of the initial feel I get for the place. And here we are atop a main road overpass. In behind me you can see the Faculty of Law for the University of Buenos Aires. Very impressive building, not sure if it was built for another purpose originally, but here it is. Look at that. Looks like a big Roman columns out the front, and that's the main road that we're on. This is the overpass, the pedestrian overpass. Here's the road. Here's a bit of a closer look at the mammoth structure. Pretty big old building. There's a big green area of parks and what have you down by the water in Buenos Aires. So pretty nice to get out and about and have a walk around. There's a few art installations and other things to see. One such piece of artwork is the giant steel flower called Floralis generica. There it is. She's pretty big. It's pretty obvious though that it's a contraption that the government uses to speak to the aliens. I mean, just look at it. Either way, it's a nice bit of artwork, aliens or no aliens. The park is very nice, it's very well maintained with its grassy areas, and just nice for a walk around in the afternoon. Beautiful statues in the park. Once again, more greenery, beautifully kept trees. If you didn't scratch below the surface, you'd have no idea, just by doing a visit to Buenos Aires, that the economy is knackered and the balance sheet is in dire straits. There's lots and lots of apartments in Buenos Aires. There's a mixture of classical or neoclassical buildings and new buildings. As an example, next to the National Library, you've got the National Library there, and then next to it you've got modern apartments alongside these beautiful neoclassical apartment buildings. And then even more. Buenos dias amigos. We are back in another park, not far from the park we were in yesterday, and today we are going to the Recoleta cemetery. It's quite a famous cemetery, I'm not exactly sure why, but in the meantime I'll just show you this nice little park that I'm in. Here it is. There's a beautiful Catholic church over there. We're right in the middle of Buenos Aires, and there's the main drag down there. You can see the apartment buildings, lots of sort of what I would call mid-sized apartment buildings. But let's get along to the cemetery and see if it's worthwhile. Here's the entrance to the cemetery. It's quite grand. Alrighty, well, it seems the attraction is that, as opposed to your standard cemetery, it's more of a place of lots of miniature mausoleums, these little rooms where the dead are buried or their caskets. But there's also lots of statues and artwork around, so it makes it quite an interesting place. You've got things like this and all these little doorways, and you can actually see inside. You can see the caskets, just sort of rows and rows of alleyways or streets. It's very cool. I was a bit suspect of the $30 entry fee at first, but definitely worthwhile. Look at that. Beautiful. It's almost like a little town or a little village, but nobody lives here. All the inhabitants are dead. There are these little dead ends that are a little bit creepy, but a little bit cool at the same time. You walk down the end. Some of them are not very well maintained. Most of them have a crucifix of Jesus on the wall. Most excellent in a creepy kind of way. You get a little map with a guide on it. There's lots of famous Argentinians buried here, but if you're not up on your famous Argentinian people or your Argentinian history, it doesn't really mean much apart from one person. Here's probably the most famous mausoleum in the place, Eva Perón, otherwise known as Evita. If you haven't heard of her, you might heard of the song Don't Cry For Me Argentina.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you.
She was the wife of the president of Argentina, and she was a bit like a Princess Diana figure. She was very popular amongst the poor people of Argentina, and she died in her early 30s from cancer. So there's a bit of a story there. Some of the artwork is pretty amazing. Look at these carvings on the side. And even the doors themselves are works of art. The old and the new. There's glasswork on some. So that is the famous Recoleta cemetery, including Eva Perón's mausoleum, or gravesite, whatever you want to call it. Let's go. Alrighty, beautiful day here in Buenos Aires. It's almost 2:30. Nice warm afternoon, and we're going to go inside the Museum of Modern Art, or MALBA. Let's check it out.
Dance as we dip in the melodic sea. Rhythm keeps flowing and drips to MC. Sweet sugar pop, rocks and pop. You don't stop till the sweet beat drops. I shall improve as I stick and move. Vivid poems recited on top of the groove. Smooth mind, floating like a butterfly. Notes set afloat, sung like a lullaby. Brace yourself as the beat hits ya. Dip, trip, flip, fantasia. What's that?
So there you go, that's your dose of modern art for the day. Take it or leave it, love it or loathe it. I quite like art, but a lot of it's pretentious tosh as well, so it's all in the eye of the beholder. Good morning, adventure travellers. Okay, we've been booted out of the hostel because I didn't book any further ahead, and they had a sports team coming in. So I'm in a part of town called Montserrat at the moment, which looks pretty interesting. It's a little bit grittier. I can smell someone smoking dope somewhere, which is fine. But the neighbourhood is not quite as upmarket as Recoleta. As you can see, there's a bit of graffiti and boarded up buildings. I think there's a park down the road, so let's go have a look at that. The gritty streets of Buenos Aires. Still, there's lots of nice trees and lots of nice character buildings. I'm not sure if this one up here is an apartment building, but it looks pretty special. Look at that, wow. Pretty awesome looking neoclassical building there. I think there's a church next door to it as well. It's not a church, so I think it's another apartment building, but once again, cool neoclassical style. There you go. Fantastic. I'd certainly live there. Pretty cool looking place. So, just got my hair cut by a guy from the Dominican Republic, and his sidekick was from Cuba, and he got a bit overzealous with the scissors and with the old hair gel. But it'll grow back in a month. So we've made it to the building of the National Congress. It's a pretty, oops, there's a bus. Pretty impressive building that would rival anything in Europe. So I guess that's where the government sits, or the Congress sits, and makes all the laws. So in front of the Congress building, there's a park, beautiful park with some statues in it. Go from the Congress there. Here's the park. Lots of people out and about doing their exercise, walking their dogs. Pretty quiet for a Saturday morning. Maybe this is more of a business area. Maybe it's a bit busier during the week. There's the Congress building in behind. Very nice. Well, there's no mistaking which country you're in when you're wandering along the road and you come across a mural like this. So for those of you that don't know, that's Lionel Messi, and he plays for the Argentinian soccer team, who are the current World Cup holders.
There's no whistle, and Argentina will continue. It's Leo Messi! Oh! That's why he's the best player in the world. And that's what the fans came to see tonight. And it's happened inside the opening 2 minutes. And it is classic Messi.
Alrighty, I've got the haircut sorted out, and I'm decided to go to the Tango tonight. It's about 8 o'clock, starts in about half an hour, and I've come out onto the streets and it's swarming with people in Argentine football jerseys. So apparently an Argentine club side has just won the South American version of the club championships, or I think what they call it in Europe, the European Cup. So it's swarming with Argentina, as you can see behind me. It must be an extra special victory when Argentina beats Brazil, the big brother. Here is the obelisk, which is a landmark. I'm not exactly sure what it's a landmark for, but it's a center point in Buenos Aires anyway. Okay, I think this is the theatre we're just coming up to. Yep, this is it. Let's get on inside. Tango Portento. It's a lot more upmarket than I expected. Lots of people dressed up, and it's a beautiful interior. There's the stage there. Hopefully the show's going to begin soon. Now that's a steak. Look at that. Luckily I've got limitless red wine to wash it down with. And that was the Tango show for the night. Wow, just outside the theatre, and the streets are still filled with football fans. I think the party's going to go on. Don't get run over crossing the road. I think the party's going to go on till the wee hours of the morning. It is Saturday, so they've got time to rest and be hungover tomorrow.